I want Philadelphia to be the best. I love Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. I think both of those guys will be all-time greats. Not just perennial all-stars, but all-time greats. But I think they're a year away, maturity-wise, from being the best team in the East. I think Boston is the best. They got everything. I mean, we talked about it earlier. They do have to work it out because you're bringing back your best player in Kyrie Irving. Gordon Hayward, who is a star, comes in. Is he the second option or is he the third option? You know, I think it starts as second, but maybe Jason Tatum really emerges and he becomes the second option. Jaylen Brown's great. Like, there's going to have a lot to work through, but there's no one better to do it than Brad Stevens. They play defense. They've got character. They've got heart. Their offense wasn't that great last year after the injuries, but again, you're bringing back your two best offensive players, so that's going to be fine. Like, there's nothing not to like about the Boston Celtics, so I think they're the best. Toronto's going to be very tough. I think they've got a great chance to win the East, right there behind Boston. Philadelphia, maybe they'll surprise me, but, you know, they still got to see what Markelle Fultz is. They lost a little bit of their shooting. So Ben Simmons, still, as great as he is going to have to learn how to shoot. Milwaukee's another team that I think is going to be very good. And then, you know, Washington and Indiana will battle for fifth spot. But the East is going to be competitive and fun to watch this year.
How about Milwaukee as well? I mean,
yeah, they're probably the fourth best team, I think.
And I think the consistency they're going to have at head coach, I think they've changed that roster for the better. I think Milwaukee's a threat. I'm with you, though. It's the Boston Celtics. The first thing I would say is that the tales of the demise of the Eastern Conference have been greatly exaggerated. Yes, LeBron leaves, and that takes Cleveland off from their chance to win it. Okay, but Cleveland probably wasn't even really the best team. Boston wasn't healthy this year, and they didn't run up on Philadelphia in the playoffs. Whereas Philadelphia had great confidence that they could have beaten Cleveland. Remember, they nearly lost to Indy in the first round. So I think Toronto got better. I think the Wizards got better. John Wall wasn't healthy last year. If John Wall is fully healthy and whatever he was suffering from in Las Vegas, he's recovered from. But I think changing their front line, adding Jeff Green, who brings some playoff pedigree, some championship pedigree, and you bring him off the bench, I think he gives you versatility. Like, I like Washington, and I love Boston. I don't know if Philadelphia's as good because they've lost some of that shootout. They bring back J.J. Covington, though, I think Covington showed maybe a little bit of his ceiling, and some of their other ancillary pieces, which frankly, carried them at times in the playoffs, are gone. But I actually think the East is getting pretty deep. It's not the West. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you that the East is equal to the West, especially at the top. But it's much deeper with good teams. When you talk about Milwaukee being a fourth team and then Indy, a team that's on the rise, and some of those other teams in the East, and the Wizards with John Wall and Brad Beal, I think it's a little bit better than the common fan would think.
To your point, I believe Boston or Toronto, if let's say they reach the finals.
I think it's Boston. I don't think it's close, to be honest with you.
Okay, I think either of those teams, though, if they get to the finals against Golden State, I think they give the Warriors a tougher series than Cleveland did last year.
No question.
Because they got defenders, they can switch stuff.
That's the genius to what Boston has done. And you remember when they made the trade for Kyrie, or when they acquired Gordon Hayward, they said the same thing when they made the trade for Gordon Hayward, for Kyrie Irving, which is it fits within our timeline and also within our style of play. Yeah. What they have done is not just draft well and fleece people for draft picks. They've drafted versatile forwards who can defend multiple positions, right? You go back 2 years ago when they had the best record. That was really the best record out of effort and going for it when other teams didn't go for it. But they had too many small guards, and you get caught up. Small guys get eaten up in this league, as you know. Right now, like the smallest guy they're going to throw out there is Terry Rozier, and his heart is bigger than the rest of his body, right? I mean, Kyrie Irving's not a great.
He's not tiny.
No, he's not Isaiah Thomas, right? Marcus Smart can defend everybody but maybe a center, and he'd take a center out in the back alley and fight him. The rest of their players are all capable of guarding 1 through 4 positions. And that's the genius to it because it matches up well with the Golden State Warriors. That was the flaw to the Cavs, which was they didn't have 2 years ago, they didn't have anybody other than LeBron James who could guard Kevin Durant.
I think we're in agreement about where things may fall, but when you look at the play, it was always LeBron, the best player in the in the league, but in the Eastern Conference. Who do you expect the most out of when you look at Giannis, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid? Kawhi Leonard out of the East, what player are you most excited to see that you think could have the biggest impact?
Well, this is, and I'm going to tip a cap to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? Every player's circumstances is in fact different.
Okay.
Like, Kyrie Irving might well be the best player in the East, but he's not going to have the best numbers in the East because he has a bunch of other guys that need the basketball that are going to get shots. I think Giannis is most likely to have the most statistically dominant season because the team is built around. They're trying to put pieces around to space out a virtually unguardable guy when he can make a jump shot. I think Kawhi, of course, is a two-way player, and I'll be interested to see how they use him. Like, DeMar averaged 23 a game. I think he's a little bit better. He's much better defensively and probably a little bit better offensively. I think 24, 25 points a game. That's about right for Kawhi if he's healthy. I mean, those are the top three in my mind.
So neither one of the Philadelphia guys.
I love Simmons, okay, but I do think that, and maybe it's how people guard you in the postseason. I do think he's been exposed a little bit, and people know to put a big guy on him and sag off in the lane, and when he gets to your body, you got to have length on him. Embiid's the one who they're kind of going to split votes, right? Embiid and Simmons, but I just don't know if Embiid's going to play every night. If I'm Philadelphia, why would I play him every night? I need him for the playoffs. I don't need to wear him out in the regular season. Play him 60-some-odd games so that you know you have him in the postseason, and so I don't think you'll have as dominant a regular season as the others.
Well, they're going to have to get to a point, though, where you can put him out there and not worry. I mean, obviously, anybody can get hurt anytime, but they've got to get to a point where you can just like any other player, you just play him. And I think you have to realize, look, if he gets hurt, he was going to get hurt at some point. And you just got to play him. Hopefully, he's at that point where he can be penciled in for 80 games, and if he does that, I mean, like you said, Giannis, Kawhi, they got some great players.
Like I said, there's better players in the East than people give you. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If I'm Joel Embiid, if I'm advising Joel Embiid, you have to take a page out of the book of LeBron James. One of the only question mark is his body. And NBA guys are like, look, we don't know what he ate, how he was raised, his first 18 years of life. And when he got to Kansas, American food, like he took advantage. And then during his couple years off, he gained some weight, and they had to get rid of some of that bad weight. Invest in yourself. Hire a chef. Hire a nutritionist. Only eat what they tell you to eat. Stretch when they tell you to stretch. If you take care of your body, if his body holds up,
phenomenal.
He has a chance to go down as one of the great players in the history of the NBA. But you can't do it if you're not healthy.
All right, come.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.